that was a flat lie, man. That was a flat lie. We're the ones that did the deal with Golden Boy. We're the ones that negotiated and actually signed the contract. So we came out because a lot of people were sending DMs and calling us and say, "Hey, man, did you see this message?" A lot of people took it as a disrespect. Like, They saw what we did from the beginning. They were there since day one. People who were through the journey know exactly what happened. So we went out and we just put a social media post, like you said, with class and with respect. We said, okay, we're going to put the facts out there, what the reality is. And, we put some videos out there of, with other people's own voice, other people stating what the facts were, how she got signed, and how it happened. And we got a ton of videos of the fighter constantly thanking Marv Nation for giving her the opportunity of bringing her to the U.S. We made her undisputed.
On Mexican Independence Day, we can call this Teddy Atlas here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You heard from the champ himself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And I'm here with the CEO himself of MARV Nation, the owner, the founder, ladies and gentlemen, who got a big show coming up, the one, the only, Mr. Marvin Rodriguez. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice, Marvin.
Hey, thank you so much, man. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. I want to jump right into it, man. The headliner of the show, none other than Tito Mercado. February 10th, LA area. It's going to be booming. The doors, tickets are still on sale. Doors open up at 4. The event starts at 5. Tell us about the entire card. And, it's over here on 21815 Pioneer Boulevard, Hawaiian Gardens, California, man. People can still get their tickets. Who do they reach out to? Because I'm hearing this whole card is laser.
Yeah, definitely, man. The card is stacked. We have some tremendous fighters on there that are up and coming that will be the next world champions. You could pretty much count on that. Obviously, you mentioned Tito Mercado. Also, Jonathan Lopez is a kid that you need to look out for. They call him Gio La Roca. He's part of the Canelo team. He's ranked 16 in the world, and also Lawrence King is going to be on the card, which is another fighter that's been climbing up the ladder. And the whole card is just stacked, man. We have a lot of talent on there of kids that are going to be the future without a doubt.
Tell us, why does your card stand out? There's a lot of boxing promotions. There's a lot of boxing cards, other than the pay-per-view cards. I mean, your card, your show is the one to be at. I talked to many people that have just showed up to watch it. And he said, Richard, there's excitement, not just inside of the ring, but outside of the ring. The anticipation, the energy is just a little different.
Absolutely.
Talk to us. Why is MARV Nation the promotion to be recognized?
You know what? We try to look for some of the best fights out there, even though they get expensive, even though it's not easy to have these caliber type of fighters on your card, because obviously, fighters, to fight them, they want to get paid big money, but those are fights that people want to see. They want to see some potential world champions coming up and follow them in their journey. So that's one of the things, and we also bring a lot of exciting fighters that go out there and put everything that they have. And outside of the ring, I mean, we pop up with entertainment. Sometimes we'll bring singers. We'll bring some people who put up a show, a contest, so many different things. We like to make our shows different from other shows. It's like people are excited. What's next? What's coming up next? I wonder what they're going to do this time. I wonder how they're going to outdo themselves from the last show. But we have impersonators that have come and impersonated Shakira and other famous artists, and people, they get blown away by that. Sometimes we don't announce it. They're there, and all of a sudden they're part of the show. Or sometimes we get a comedian that come in and put on a show. I mean, our shows are just exciting to come to, and people love the experience.
The last one that I went to was Cepeda in Pro Gray. And I'm telling you, you had every world champion inside the Coliseum there, outside in your arena, outside. I mean, it was just stacked. It was full. It was an awesome event. The fight lived up to all the hype. And I remember going into it, it just had a different, type of energy. It had that pay-per-view energy. It had that blockbuster Las Vegas energy. And it was in the summer of of California, and you brought the noise, you brought the heat. Once you excel that high, how do you continue to keep your levels going? Like you said, it's always a surprise. You never know what the crowd is going to anticipate next, and you seem to always blow it through the roof.
Right. Well, the reason there was so much hype about that fight is because it was the number one against the number two in the world in that weight class, and it's a fight that a lot of people wanted to see. And sometimes you don't get that in boxing. You don't get those fights that people want to see. People run, they duck. They don't happen. So there was a lot of excitement about that card because of that reason, and we just have to continue doing that, seeking what's the next big fight that people may want to see, and work toward putting that on. We're actually in the middle of some negotiations on putting on a few big names on the card coming up the next few months. So as long as we're able to close that deal, there's going to be that same excitement that we had with the previous cards. And all you have to do is keep building on the excitement and just bring to the fans what they want to see.
You're just not a promoter. You're also a manager. You also signed some fighters to your promotion team. Tell us the names to look for and the ones that have been there with you. Where are they at today, and how their career continues to prosper?
Well, I want to say we have Nathan Rodriguez, which I say right now he's up and coming. He's an up and coming world champion. He's training with Eddie Reynoso. He fought on the Canelo card in May. It's a kid that he's only 19 years old. He's already, I believe, 13-0, 14-0. He's been really active on a fast track to build his career. That's a kid you need to watch out for. Obviously, the boys that don't need no introduction, Fernando Vargas Jr. and Amado Vargas, we signed them exactly a year ago in January of last year. We have, I think we got 7 fights with them we were able to put on last year. So, they've been active also. Each one of them, they're undefeated. We're building their careers. There's a lot of excitement when they come into the ring. Obviously, they have that social media presence. They have that talent that they're building on. And, those are some fighters that you need to keep your eye on. And just, we have over 40-something fighters that are signed to MARV Nation. So, we're building these fighters. We have Irma Garcia, who became a world champion, IBF Superfly world champion at 42 years old, man. Everybody counted her out. The bets were all against her, and she beat the number one in the world, the Italian fighter, number one in the world. And she brought up a big upset on our DAZN card in November. So on our MARV Nation show. So, there's a lot of fighters that are coming up that we're building to become world champions, that are being ranked to be able to fight for those titles. So little by little, that's the direction we're heading into.
And what's the ultimate dream, to get your fighters signed, at the other promotions that are out there? You got the Golden Boys, the Top Ranks, the Match Rooms, and, you got PVC. And is that your goal to compete with the big boys? Or, sometimes everybody kind of says, well, you know what, I know where I'm at right now into the business, but you continue to just, distribute. I'm talking about like when they come from your farm club, whenever they're under MARV Nation Promotions, they get taken care of physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. You give them the exposure they need, and you guys are very consistent. Your promotions are very consistent.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it that you aim to achieve with your fighters that you do got signed?
Well, look, the reality is this: we want to get to a point where, we build these world champions, and we have the champions that people want to see. We're always open to co-promote with Top Rank, with Golden Boy, with Matchroom, with all the big promoters. We're open to that, but the ultimate goal for us is not, to sign a co-promotional deal with fighters, but to build fighters that, that people want to see. And we could eventually put on co-promotional fights, our champions against, someone else's champions. That's the ultimate goal, to build them, give them the platform, the opportunity to become world champions and fight at the biggest stages.
I've seen some other promotions such as yours, and they come off, full steam, man. It's kind of like that, that race, and it's to them, they don't look at it as a marathon. They see it as a race, and they start to wither away. one thing about your promotion is you've been very consistent. Even through the COVID, you had a plan.
Mhm.
After your pay-per-view event was successful, you continue to push forward and be
Yeah,
consistent. And we all know in the sport of boxing, in this world that we live in, it's all about
yeah.
consistency. Again, why do you differ from the rest?
You know what? We've been called the most active promoter in boxing right now because we do multiple shows a month. Last year we did over 40 shows that were on in the U.S., Mexico, and Costa Rica. And I think what makes us different is that we're expanding our territories by looking for partnerships, looking to network with other promoters, and building a force that can accomplish that type of thing that we're doing, which is putting on a lot of shows.
Well, I mean, that's the main thing is putting on a lot of shows. So you're in the public eye. Let's talk about this show. February 10th. You weren't afraid to go heads on with the Teofimo show that's coming on Thursday in Las Vegas, Top Rank Boxing, or even the Super Bowl. You said to yourself, hey, Richard, our show speaks for itself. The fans are going to show up. We're going to continue to push forward.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's to the left or to the right. Talk to us about Saturday, February 10th.
Absolutely, man. When you put on a show that people want to, they want to see, you put on an exciting show, and obviously we have our fan base. I think every promoter has a fan base that people follow certain fighters, and they'll show up no matter where it is, what day it is. I mean, we're talking about Teofimo fighting on a Thursday. That's kind of awkward, but people will show up because they have a fan base. Same thing for us. It's just we have our fan base, our people that support, and they follow these fighters. They want to see these fighters, so they're going to show up. They're looking forward to an exciting show. They know what they get when they come to a MARV Nation show, and they'll be there every single show. We have people that show up and support and pack our shows out. And thank you for the fans for all they do and for the support we have.
Let's talk about the opening bouts of the card and what time it starts. The doors open again, once again at 4:00. The event starts at 5:00. Tickets are still available. Make sure you sign up for the link, MARV Nation. Talk to us about the entire event. What can we expect when if there's a fan out there or a follower that's never been to an event? Because actually, I know two people. I talked to them myself, and I'll talk to you more about it off air. They're going to your show this Saturday. They've never been to a boxing match, and they asked me about it, and I said, "Well, just listen to the show, and you'll find out exactly what's going on." So, to the non-fan that shows up to become a boxing fan, what can they expect their first time out? Their outing with MARV Nation.
I mean, one of the things that we shoot for is to put on competitive fights. People want to go in there and see, an opportunity for a fighter to, even though, people talk about A side, B side, for me, it's like, look, we're signing a lot of fighters. We say, look, we're looking to build world champions. We want to sign you to this contract. Show what you have. Show us what you have. If we sign you to 4 fights, you fight for us. And guess what? If you win 3 out of the 4, that means that you're a person who wants to win, who wants to compete. And we're looking to extend your contract if that happens. So most of the time, the fighters that we match up, everybody's competing to get to the next level. So we've had upsets in our cards. We've had people who were the underdogs, and the underdogs will win. And that's the kind of fights that people want to see. They don't want to see a fight where okay, I already know what's going to happen right now, So that's what we try to shoot for, and that's what fans could expect when you come out. You're going to see some tough competition.
And what can they also, get within there? I'm sure there's merchandise there. I'm sure there's food. There's drinks. When they show up, let's give a shout out, because last time I went, I was covering a collaboration with Garcia Promotions as well as you, man. That van that you had, I was ringing out. I kept smelling the food. I couldn't wait for the event to stop so I can go get something to eat. It smells so good. Let's give a shout out to your cooks or what you got going for this Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things we have is the MARV Nation food truck, man. It's becoming world famous now. They're calling us to take it to other shows besides MARV Nation. We have it to be able to serve the people that come to our shows and have the best birria tacos out there, or some of the best tacos that you
food on wheels.
Yeah, it's amazing. No joke. The cook there is amazing. The food is amazing, and we're starting to get invitations to go take it to other shows, even though it's not a Marv Nation show. But we're open for that. But they could count on some good food, some good entertainment, some great music, some great DJs that we bring to the shows. A lot of merch, there's a lot of things that you can definitely enjoy.
We got to hook up this menu right now. We got to call one burrito the Marv Nation burrito, and then we got to call one the Fighter's Voice burrito. We got to get that out there, man, and get that going out there, man, and see that becomes something popular with the fans, the followers, and supporters, and the hungry people like us.
The Marv Nation knockout burrito is what we're gonna call it.
There you go. And the burrito, the only burrito that matters.
We're going to call it the
Fighter's Voice. You know what I mean? The only burrito that matters. We're going to
call it the undisputed burrito. It's going to be the biggest one.
There you go. There you go. You heard it first here on the Fighter's Voice. The collaborations already take place. Iron sharpens iron. Two heads are better than one, my man. I'm serious. I'm excited about this event. Once again, and not to get ahead of ourselves, but I already know you already got stuff in the works. You said, Richard, we got this event February 10th. You go, brother, but I got stuff in the works. What are some hot months, and what can we expect in the future for MARV Nation Promotions?
In March, we're working on 3 shows in March. Right around the corner. Right around the corner. We got 3 shows coming up. After that, we have a huge show that we're planning on doing in April. We're still in the process of closing the deal, but we'll have a big announcement very soon. I mean, we're busy, man. Every month, we're going to definitely have multiple shows. And every day we're adding, because besides Marv Nation Promotions, we have Marv Nation TV, which everybody needs to go out there and subscribe right now. That's, at a very affordable cost of $9.99. You subscribe, you get all the Marv Nation fights. And every day we're adding new content. We're co-promoting with other companies. We're buying rights to other shows, So we have a fight, for example, coming up the same day we have our fight, February 10th in Hawaiian Gardens. We're doing a co-promotional fight in Sonora, Mexico, where Jose Castillo Sr., the legend that fought Floyd Mayweather and a lot of great champs, he's going to be doing an exhibition fight out there. I think he's supposed to be fighting Jordy Boy Campas, I believe. That's who he's going to be facing. So it's like two names that were popular, in their time and that has some great support from fans. They're going to be doing an exhibition, and you could actually watch it on Marv Nation TV. So you can watch our fights, at one time, and then you jump on and you get to watch the other fight, So we're building a platform, where it could be, the next platform where boxing could be seen, and we understand what the people want. We understand what they're looking for, and that's what we're looking to build.
I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, okay, like when you eat something, everybody puts the rice together, the beans, but it's just missing something. Maybe a little bit of salt or that extra tortilla you need, or the cake. It's missing a little bit of frosting here and there. I like the sound of this. Marv Nation TV podcast with your host, the one, the only Mr. Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice. That has a great ring to it right there. That's the salt. That's the batter. That's the collaboration. That's the explosion. That's in your face. Boxing 1-8, talking smack about boxing, because boxing's about throwing jabs and receiving punches. Absolutely. And sometimes punches in bunches, or they can come out verbally, but I can see that happening in the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's definitely something we're open to. Anything that'll bring growth, anything that'll, give us strength and also strengthen our partners and partnerships, and, part of what we're open to do. And that's what's helped us progress and continue moving forward, continue to advance.
Talk about advance. I'm going to talk about something that I just heard through social media. I don't know if you want to comment or not. I don't know the exact facts about it, but I do know the layout, something to the effect of, some fighters that you've helped bring up, and all of a sudden when they get an opportunity, they don't remember where they came from, or they don't mention, hey, where did I start from? And let's clear the air right now, man, because a lot of people don't know what's going on. I'm kind of out in the dark right now. If you have any comment on what I'm talking about, if not, they can look up social media, because I've heard some terrific sound bites, and even from the fighter herself about, where do they belong and where do we start with? And, let's start in the mud, where it all began.
Yeah, well, sometimes you find fighters that, that you wanna build with, you wanna help them out. Obviously, a lot of fighters in the beginning, it's hard when no one is willing to take a chance. No one's willing to invest. No one's willing to sacrifice. Sometimes people want to jump in. That's why you see a lot of these fighters. Sometimes there's a struggle once a fight is built. When it's a huge name, everybody wants to jump on board on that. But there's one particular fighter, and I can say it because it was on social media. It's not a secret. We signed a fighter named Yocasta from Costa Rica. She was already. I'm gonna say this, with all respect, she was already building her career. She was already known in Costa Rica. She was, someone who people would know who she was when her name was mentioned. I'm not gonna say she wasn't, but Costa Rica isn't the rest of the world. Out in the U.S. is
Right.
where boxing is. This is the mecca of boxing right here in the United States. And that was her dream. We have a video that we actually posted up. That was her dream, to come to the U.S. and fight, get the biggest fights out here, to make a name for herself known worldwide. And she was super excited when she signed with us, and we were excited to have her aboard too. We worked with her, helped her, we brought her to the U.S. We gave her the opportunity to work. We connected her with her boxing coach, which is, Coach G. We're the one that introduced him. We brought them together, and everything was going fine until, we did a deal with Golden Boy, and we signed. We did a co-promotional deal with them. They were open and interested in doing a big fight with Sanisa Estrada. That's who we negotiated to get to, and it took a year to get to that negotiation. It took a year to be able to conclude that deal, and she got a phenomenal deal. She got an amazing deal that changed her life, without a doubt. Changed her life, changed her career. Prior to that, no one knew who she was here in the media in the U.S. We pushed her hard. We put her on a lot of interviews. We took her places where the media was. We hyped up that fight with Sanisa. I mean, you could go on her social media back in 2019-20. We're already promoting that fight with Sanisa Estrada. And just recently there was a little bit of a power struggle over who should manage her, who should promote her, and not with Golden Boy. All respect to Golden Boy, they've actually respected our contract, but regarding her manager just wanted to just completely take over and make decisions that that weren't including Marv Nation, and sometimes you have to understand that you put a lot of work and sacrifice into a fighter's career. You're not going to sit back and accept somebody say, thank you very much, I'm gone. So there was a little bit of struggle whether we were going to continue to promote her, co-promote her with Golden Boy, and especially on a huge fight like the fight that just got announced and closed, which is Sanisa Estrada with Yocasta Valle, undisputed. It's going to be one of the biggest female fights of 2024, I believe. I think it's going to be the biggest women fight out there. And there was a little bit of struggle whether we were going to be a part of that or not, but, like I said, all respect to Golden Boy for, honoring our contract and the deal that we made. And, I got nothing for respect for someone that does that,
Well, I'm glad you took the opportunity to clear the air, and you did it with respect. You did it with class, as you always handle yourself, as Marv Nation always stands for, is class and respect and dignity. And there's no other way to do it. And only on the Fighter's Voice does one offer such a platform.
Yeah, let me comment on the social media thing. What happened is this had been going on for about a year. We really didn't say anything about it. We don't like to cause any drama. That's not what we're about. We thought we can handle that and eventually come to a conclusion or fix it. But the fighter actually went on social media and said that there was only one promoter, which is, her manager in reality. There's only one promoter that helped her out in her career, that got her signed with Golden Boy. Now, that was a flat lie, man. That was a flat lie. We're the ones that did the deal with Golden Boy. We're the ones that negotiated and actually signed the contract. So we came out because a lot of people were sending DMs and calling us and say, hey, man, did you see this message? A lot of people took it as a disrespect. Like, they saw what we did from the beginning. They were there since day one. People who were through the journey know exactly what happened. So we went out and we just put a social media post, like you said, with class and with respect. We said, okay, we're going to put the facts out there, what the reality is. And, we put some videos out there of, with other people's own voice, other people stating what the facts were, how she got signed, and how it happened. And we got a ton of videos of the fighter constantly thanking Marv Nation for giving her the opportunity of bringing her to the U.S. We made her undisputed at 105. That fight was in co-promotion with Golden Boy, but we were the actual promoter record in Costa Rica when she became the undisputed. I mean, not the undisputed. She became unified champion at 105, and then she fought on the Chon Cepeda card with Regis Prograis. She was a co-main event, and that was an all Marv Nation card. She became unified champion at 108. So she became a unified champion at 105, unified champion at 108 under the Marv Nation banner, which placed her to be number one in the world over Sinisa Estrada at the time. So,
Wow.
we made an impact on her career without a doubt, and people that have been there since day one, they acknowledge that, as you can see in the comments. They backed us up. They responded to her message. And, they know the truth. That's why people are saying, we know the truth, but you can't hide the truth. You can't hide it.
No, it comes out. Eventually the truth will take over, and the truth is the truth,
Absolutely.
man. I mean, lies, you'll slip and fall off a lie.
Yeah.
The truth is going to be, and it'll, as they say, it'll set you free, and it'll just expose those that are in denial.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
like I said, we know what you stand for, and I saw the fans supporting, acknowledging, and that also know the facts. And a lot of them, they put their 2 cents in there, and they didn't hold back.
Yeah.
So you got a great support system there with your
Yeah,
promotions.
we appreciate everybody who spoke out and support us and continue to support us. And that's what we work hard for. That's what we focus on making happy in this business.
There's an event taking place prior to your event on Saturday, prior to the Super Bowl, and that's in Las Vegas, Nevada. Top Rank Boxing. Teofimo, the Takeover Lopez, taking on Jermaine, the technician, and then he said, "Call me the Smooth Criminal Ortiz." Does this fight, in fact, does it live up to the hype, the expectancy, or is it a short night for one gentleman, or is it going the distance?
Man, that's always interesting when you have to analyze the fights and see what's going to happen. But I think, if we get it just depends what Tio comes out. The one that we saw in his last fight, which was a great fight, or the ones where we've seen him have a tough night. I think Tio right now is on a high. He's confident. I think he's excited right now about boxing again. I think at one point he kind of lost that, going through a lot of different things in his life. But I think it might be a short night, man.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he's got to make a statement. He's got to prove himself if he's gonna. He's calling out those big fights and he wants those big paydays. He wants those big fights, so he's got to make a statement. You know how this is, man. If all it is one fight that can take you in one direction or the next.
Exactly. I think I see Ortiz putting a good account of himself, but what I do not see, Marvin, is I don't see that fire in the eyes. I don't see it at the press conference. I don't see it at the open workouts. I think he's going to be ready. I just don't. You see a certain special blink or a look at a certain fighter. I just don't see it. I wish I did, because the talent is there. I mean, he took Loma the distance, and I thought should have been a draw. He dethroned Jamal Herring along the way, but I just didn't see that fire that that we need to see.
You know what? Sometimes though, as fighters, you go through ups and downs, even in your camps. Sometimes fight week I've seen fighters completely off. But sometimes it's cutting weight. You don't know what his body's going through. You don't know if he's easily making 140, if he's even struggling to make 140. You you don't know what their body's going through. So, sometimes I've seen fighters that don't even want to talk to you prior, a few days before fight night, but then when they get rehydrated and they get energized, they get the shot, then they change it to a different fighter.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
let's see what happens on fight night. But I can tell you this: he has to make a statement. He has to put on a great performance. He just came off a great performance where he had to prove himself. That was redemption for him.
Yes.
And he did it. So it just depends on the mindset he's bringing into this fight. If he sees it as important as the last fight, then he's gonna definitely make a statement.
I want to see a competitive fight. I don't want to see a short night, but I do want to see a competitive fight. I do want to see a statement made by either gentleman because, even Tito, we got coming on later on in the show, the 140-pound division is the meat division. Yeah. It's the division right now that is hot. I mean, just fire wherever you go. If you're in the division, Marvin, in the 140-pound division, you can't hide anywhere. There's no place to hide. You must face adversity. You must face the toughest competition out there. You can't look to the left or to the right. You got to face what's in front of you.
Absolutely. But as a fighter, that's what you should want. As a fighter,
absolutely, I agree with you.
You should, that's a perfect place to be because, there's a lot of fighters to pick from. There's a lot of fighters that will give you that opportunity to show your skill. And, sometimes you have these great fighters, but they're in divisions where there's nobody there. They don't get the fights and they can't go down as some of the greatest because they never really fought anybody, but
I
at
agree
140, if you really want to be the best, then that's where you can prove it because you have a lot of the top names at 140. You have, some of the best. So it's an easy opportunity. Once you get that opportunity to fight, it's an opportunity for you to show, what you're made of.
I agree with you. I mean, it's full-fledged forward. I got to take my hat off too. I mean, for Regis Prograis taking on a younger Devin Haney, he could have stood on the senior tour and took on Arnold Barboza, Jose Ramirez, or what have you, or somebody in the likes of his age group, so to speak. But in that division, the youngsters are up there. They moved up for a reason. It's not that they don't respect their elders; they don't respect anybody. They're happy-go-lucky, and they got the skill set. Hopefully it doesn't get taken for granted, but there's a lot of great fights that are there right now in the 140-pound division. Yeah. I know MARV Nation is going to be a part of that, with some fighters that you got coming up as well. But let's talk about the future of boxing. And when I say that, I mean, there was a postponement with Tyson Fury and, with his cut over the eye. And I mean, what do you make of it? A lot of people wanted to question it, but you can't question a big old giant cut on your eye. Nobody says, okay, cut me just perfully. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, you can't question that, man. That cut looked pretty bad. They were transparent about it. They posted the pictures, they brought the videos. Not only that, but the reality is this: the type of money you're talking about, man. Is like, what else did you ask for? I'm sure they both want to make that fight. They both want to get that paycheck because that's what fighters really fight for nowadays. They're fighting, to make a living for their families, to be able to live comfortable the rest of their life. They don't want to be like some of the old school fighters that are still driving Uber to make a living because yes, they put on the greatest fights, but they didn't make any money. You know what I mean? And no disrespect for Uber's drivers because obviously. That's a great work that they do, and without them, we can't move around when we travel and stuff like that. All respect, but sometimes it's sad to understand or to see. I've seen it. A person who was a world champion having to drive as an Uber when they should have been set for the rest of their life. And I think that fight, it was just one of those things that happened, man. That it just a cut came. You see that all the time in boxing, man. It's not new. But fans will always, they'll always get tough, man. They always go rough when something happens. You're ducking, you're doing this. Sometimes you don't understand what's going behind the scenes also, But in this case, it was apparent that, there was a big cut, man, a big nasty cut, and fighters' safety is first. I'm going to tell you something. I've seen fighters that have fought because they were able to hide the injuries. They were injured, but they were able to hide it. I think in this sense, Tyson Fury wasn't able to hide that injury. It was apparent. It was a big cut. He wouldn't get approved to fight that way. But it's like,
Yes.
no excuse. I'm not putting an excuse for a fighter, but I kind of seen it myself. The Chon Cepeda fight with Regis Prograis. Chon Cepeda got into a car accident the week of, man, a few days before the fight, actually.
Yeah.
And, I could almost assure you,
I have those pictures. I didn't leak them
yeah,
out. Hey,
I could
I was a
almost
fly on the
assure
wall.
you he fought, injured. I can pretty much assure you that he wasn't 100% coming off a big accident like that. But you know what? As a fighter, you're thinking, hey, man, number one, this is my biggest opportunity to fight for the world title. I might never get this opportunity again at my age. Number two, I'm getting the biggest payday of my life because Marv Nation paid them 1.2 million each. You know what I mean? So at that moment, it's like,
Nice.
you know what? My rib may be cracked, but man, I'm gonna suck it up and I'm gonna go in the ring and I'm gonna give it the best that I have. You know? So, but Tyson Fury wasn't able to do that. He had a big cut. You couldn't hide that. He would never got authorized by a doctor to fight. His safety comes first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think we kind of killed that one right now. Let's talk about Marv Nation TV. Where can we sign up? What's the link to it? How do we get all the investors, the sponsors out there to want to be part of the Marv Nation TV team? How can they
All
subscribe?
right. So if you on a computer, you could go to www.marvnationtv.com. Or we're on Android and the Apple Store now. So you could actually go to the Apple Store and look up Marv Nation TV. You're gonna find the app. You download it, and you can subscribe on the app or on the website. Either one.
And let's talk about Saturday's big boxing event. Where can they buy tickets at? Will they be sold at the door? How can one come away with some tickets?
Okay, you could go to our website, www.marvnation.com, and there you'll be able to purchase tickets. You'll be actually able to see the streaming too. Both websites are connected, so there's a link for you to click on. It will take you to Marv Nation TV, or you can purchase tickets on the website. You can buy tickets at the door, but most of the time, by then, the tickets that are left over, and sometimes they're a little bit more pricey than if you buy them ahead of time.
Okay, real quick, who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
Oh man, oh man! I didn't know we were talking about football, man. But
We just got to pick a winner. Super Bowl weekend, my
yeah,
man.
you're absolutely right. Super Bowl weekend, man. You know what? It's like one of those things where my brain is telling me because of the experience it would be Kansas City, but my heart is telling me San Francisco just because of the story of the kid. I fell in love with the kid's story, man. Being the underdog, never being picked first, being
Yeah.
one of the last ones to be drafted. He's an underdog. He's the one nobody believes in. And I'm the type of person that I love those underdog stories. I mean,
I do too.
I support the underdog. And in this case, I would say, I'd say San Francisco, could pull the upset. Everybody thinks that because of the experience that Kansas City's had, it's going to be a walk in the park. But I would say for me, I want to see that upset. I want to see San Francisco pull it off.
Hey, you heard it from the man himself, Marv Nation, Marv
Let me say
Rodriguez,
something.
the CEO, the owner.
Yes, let me say
and
something. I
founder.
know
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna
Sure.
get a lot of I'm gonna get a lot of hate later on from my boys and stuff because I'm from LA and I'm a huge Dodger fan, man. I'm a baseball fan. I don't watch football that much,
Oh my.
but I'm a huge baseball fan. I'm a Dodger fan, and they always tell me you can never go for the 49ers if you're a Dodger fan. You know what I mean? But for me, it's like I just told you, I love the story of the kid. That's what kind of pushed me in that direction. And there's another motive too. I have a brother-in-law who passed away about 10 years ago. He was a huge 49er fan. I would see the excitement every time they would either make the playoffs or even get close to just being in the playoffs. So for me, every time they win, it reminds me of him and the joy that he would get seeing his team. Like I said, I'm not sold on a particular team. Because I'm more of a baseball fan. For me, it's Dodgers all day. But I want to see that underdog.
All day.
I want to see that kid win. I want to see the underdog story, and then I want him to win for my brother-in-law that passed away.
Well, our condolences to your brother-in-law. I know it's still brand new. I know the loss of a loved one as I lost my son, and to me, it's every day, every second, every minute of my life that I breathe. And we just know that he's going to be happy watching his team compete in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's going to be an awesome
For
day
sure,
for
for
him,
sure.
you, and the whole family, and just everybody that remembers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Marvin, I want to thank you in advance, for taking the time. I mean, it's fight week, and your phone's blowing up.
Yeah.
You got fights falling out, fights coming back on, matchmaking's going on. Everybody needs to get matched up. Everything is gonna stay afloat as always, and you're doing it, and you took time out to come on the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And next up, we have Eric coming on. I'm sorry, Tito. Mercado coming on the show later on this evening, and we're going to talk about his career, his fight, and what he got in store, and his opportunity, and his promotion team. And we're also going to pick his brain about this Thursday's fight between Teofimo Lopez and Jermaine Ortiz.
Hey, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. I'm like our guest, MARV Nation. We're simply knocking out the competition. As always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, and all the crew, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.